Good morning. I want to begin by saying that I hope that you and your family and your friends are all doing okay in this very frightening and challenging time. I have no magic wand that I can wave around and make all of this go away, because believe me, if I did, I would have used it already. I want to first also tell you that I have written down what I want to say today, because it's been a long time since I've spoken to so many people. I mean, at least they tell me there might be some people watching today, so I'm going to refer to these notes, even though my only audience is actually lying on the floor in front of me. My dog Boston is here, and so if you hear any noises during my talk, it's probably just her snoring. And also, as you can see, it's never too early to dress up for Oktoberfest. On a more serious note, I want to say thank you to all of the health professionals all around the world who are doing all they can to save as many lives as possible and to slow down the spread of this terrible virus. What they do is incredible. And I also want to thank Andy, Felix, and Bernd for their kindness in asking me to be a part of this first Bits and Pretzels virtual founders breakfast. I will do my best to share some of my perspective on what it feels like to suddenly find yourself in a situation you could not possibly have prepared for or anticipated was coming. I don't think it will come as a surprise for anyone to say that my world completely changed in the fall of 2017. My job, many of my relationships, my standing in my own industry were all gone in just a matter of hours. I don't often like to tell people that I can relate to their situation, because I think it undermines the experience that they may be having, which is their own unique and very personal experience. But in this instance, I feel as though I can relate to what it feels like to have your world suddenly stop. And so while we may have found ourselves in similar situations, albeit for very different reasons and circumstances, I still believe that some of the emotional struggles are very much the same. And so I do have empathy for what it feels like to suddenly be told that you can't go back to work, or that you might lose your job, and that it's a situation that you have absolutely no control over. You know, in talks that I've done before, I've always tried to highlight the commonalities that we have together, artists and entrepreneurs. I think we do have a lot in common. I mean, let's face it, we're all a little bit crazy, right? And for good reason. We all have a vision. We think the impossible is possible. We dream big, either about our own talents and what we think we can do with them, or a company we want to start, or an idea we want to develop. And these are the dreams that we chase even when we know that the odds are against us. And I don't have to tell any of you the resilience it takes to keep going in the face of a lot of people who want to remind us that we are heading down the wrong road. But oftentimes in our pursuit of these dreams, we don't bother to check the engine light. You know, we just want to keep driving a few more miles. You know, God forbid we should stop the car and check the tires or look at the oil gauge. It's just all about gas. You know, it's just pedal to the metal. Go, go, go. And that may very well be what we needed to do to get us that far. But when the car finally does come to a stop, either through success or through failure, we may have no idea where we are, or even worse, we may have no idea who we are. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was so busy defining myself by what I did or what I was trying to do that when it all stopped, I had no idea what to do next. Because all I ever knew was how to act. All I ever wanted to do was act. From the time I was 11 years old, I dreamed of acting. I thought I was born to do it. I did it my whole life. And when my career came to a grinding, screeching halt, when I was faced with the uncertainty that I might never be hired as an actor again, I had to ask myself a question I'd never asked myself before, which is, if I can't act, who am I? I mean, I'd only ever valued myself through my work. I'd only defined myself through my work. That's who I was. But if that wasn't going to be a possibility anymore, then who am I when all I am left with is just me? It's not something I ever thought I'd have to contemplate. So this is some of the work that I have been trying to do. And while I don't want to sugarcoat this devastating time that we're in, I am hoping that I can encourage you to see an opportunity in all of this and turn this into a positive. Sure, there may be issues to deal with in your business life, but there's nothing more important than your life. And I know it might be hard to hear right now, but it's at these kinds of moments that we have the chance to remember that the most important thing in life is our health, our physical health, but also our mental health, the health of our family, of our children, of our parents, if we're still lucky enough to have them with us. And right now, we have this opportunity to just stop and reflect on our lives and maybe even learn a little bit more about ourselves. Because as bleak and as horrible as things can be and can look, as they did for me 2 years ago and as they might look for you right now, it will get better. No doubt your questions will be different from mine and they will change over time because it's a process. And I'm still in my process. But this is a process that has allowed me to ask other questions I'd never ask, have conversations I'd never had, delve into issues I'd long avoided, face truths I'd kept hidden, and confront traumas I had always denied. So I hope that you too can find out, as painful as these moments are, as difficult as the questions you may ask yourself might be, that you will soon discover a new part of you that has been begging to be heard. And I know as you sit there in your living room or in your office at home, it might feel a long way away, but before you know it, it's going to be back to business as usual, which is all the more reason to take this moment now to engage in your life in a new way. And believe me, I know it's not easy to do. It's not even easy to talk about. And if I didn't have someone checking in on me every day, I'm not sure how I could have gotten through the first day, let alone this day. And let me leave you with this. This past week, I got a letter from someone asking me to sign an American Beauty poster. And as I was looking at the poster, I noticed just under the title are 2 words, 2 really simple words. It says, "Look closer." And I realized I never really saw that before. I mean, yeah, I saw it. I mean, I must have looked at that poster more times than I can count. But I never really saw it. I never really stopped and looked closer at my own life. But when you do stop and explore the personal, the spiritual, your health, your relationships, the changes can be real and the rewards will keep coming. And even though we do want to conduct ourselves with the appropriate social distancing, we can still be kind, because kindness at any different distance brings us closer. So begin by being kind to yourself. Might be the hardest place to start. It certainly was for me. When my business partner, Evan Lowenstein, and I went to Munich in 2016, when I gave the keynote, we had an incredible experience. And when we returned in 2017, we were welcomed again with such friendship by our partners. So I thank the entire Bits and Pretzels family. And I particularly want to say thank you to the Bits and Pretzels team for having asked me to join you all today. I hope it won't be too long before we're all back together sharing a night in one of those outrageous tents in Munich, hearing amazing stories of how you got through this difficult time. I'm looking forward to seeing you in your tight-fitting leather pants, your lederhosens, as you like to call them, and drinking way too many steins of beer and sharing the camaraderie that's always made Bits and Pretzels such a sought-after destination. Until then, thank you for allowing me to share some of my thoughts. I hope in some small way I've been able to bring you some comfort. Keep fighting the fight. Stay safe and healthy, and take care of yourselves and those you love.